Hey guys, and welcome back to yet another episode of All the Mods 10. This time in English, where today's to-do list happens to involve fully automating all of the ingredients required to make the dimensional seed. Now, in between episodes, I did go ahead and craft myself this next emitter. The only thing I was missing was one of these bad boys, and I have already set up patterns for every single one of these terminals. So this wasn't too difficult, and I can indeed autocraft this entire thing, so that's no problem at all. However, this is going to be a challenge because it involves automatically brewing potions of different types as well as automatically infusing in the Runic Enchanter. So why don't we get started with the easy thing first, or at least I think it's the easy thing. That's making all of these potions. Now, I could set up Potion Brewer from the initial foregoing mod, but I have only had terrible experiences trying to automate this thing. Sometimes it takes the water in the input slot and makes an awkward potion, and things that don't line up properly. It puts blaze powder in the ingredient slot instead of the power slot, and yeah, it's a little terrible. So I think I'm gonna either go. I'm surprised I don't see create here, but I think that leaves me with immersive engineering and the bottler. Now, the bottling machine, which has been featured on the channel already back when I was making Tesla coils, can take the potion of night vision as a liquid and put it in a bottle. And this guy can, I imagine, come from any one of these. Now, I reckon filling items by spout is sort of broken with create because it just takes I don't know, I don't want to try this because I'm a little dubious of its functionality. And even though this says mixed potion, I imagine it can do all potions, but I don't want to try it. I want to set this up with immersive engineering once again. So a mixer will produce me the potion of night vision right here with one golden carrot and a little bit of awkward potion, which I can once again produce in the same mixer. Cool. And the same liquid potion of night vision can be turned into a whole bucket of night vision potion that lasts 8 minutes in yet another mixer. Who would have seen this coming? And I'm just in the process of building out one of these rooms. And in hindsight, I think I could have copied the same room from all the way behind this reactor there, but you know, I also have more rooms to fill out because 3 potions. I forgot about the regeneration potion that goes into the infused health shelf. So yeah, 3 potions, 3 mixers. I know I can just share the mixers, but come on now, where's the fun in that? Plus I have so much space to fill out. Someone's got to do something with all this space. So once again, having a lot of experience playing with immersive engineering, I'm gonna try to build this from memory. And this was a 3x3 structure with 2 L shapes that goes like that and then like that. That go here and then comes across, and this guy, and I specifically remember this guy hanging out. 4 of those go in the corner, and that's supposed to be the mixing thing. And then I believe redstone block goes here. What am I missing? It seems I've completed a bunch of immersive engineering quests by grabbing the hammer, but that should be the mixer right here. I guess my quests got reset at some point. And oh wow, yeah, the quests have been revamped completely. I guess if I want to 100% this, I have a lot of work to do here. Impressive. Alright, I guess I'll be doing this at some point. And with 1 mixer in place, I see no reason not to just copy the entire thing on over to the other side. I'm just gonna have to mess around with these settings here, if I can remember my keybinds, because they happen to be different between the Moni Factory and this one. So it goes up by a block and it goes out by a block in the other direction. Right? Yes. Oh, no, that's incorrect. Hold on. There we go. That's better. That's more like it. And now I should just be able to yoink and sploink. Ooh, okay. Small problem here. This seems like it doesn't actually respect the fact that this is a machine made of blocks. It's just sort of eating them up and not considering the blocks. I think I'm gonna have to just break and replace one of them. And I should just be able to recopy and repaste. Much better. Boop. Now that didn't quite exactly work here because I ran out of materials, but it should work over here. And you know what? 1 extra guy right here. Perfect. You know, nobody really told me I misplaced that. Why did nobody tell me that? I had to rebuild this entire thing. But you know what? If you actually want to interrupt me, or maybe even get a look behind the scenes, you should consider joining Discord. Or maybe even the Patreon, like these fine people whose names you see going across the screen right now. Very cool. Anyways, one quick bonk with the engineer's hammer later, I think I want to put the interface down here for this lad, and then have a little subnet going into the respective inputs where that guy is, I believe, the fluid input, and this thing is the item input. And so if I have an import bus and two storage buses, it should just sort of figure itself out. And then have the outputs piped back into this network, like so. Of course, I'm going to need power to this guy, so there we go. And then I would like to have some form of redstone control. That I'll have to do with level emitters, and I think I want to use wireless links for this. Anyways, that's for later. And I don't know what I said earlier, but this guy will have to be a storage bus because it's going to be reading the contents of the interface. And I've already made a video about this, so if you want to learn how to make subnets, I covered them. It was supposed to be a short, but it ended up being, I think, a few seconds too long, and it's now just a 1-minute video on my channel. Yeah, you can go watch that. I might just try to put it in the top right there. Cool. But yeah, if that's a storage bus, then I need some sort of export buses to export the respective things into their respective locations, which would have to be filtered, and then the imports can be unfiltered. And that leaves redstone. And I believe we can do one of these and have the storage monitor right here. Boop. And then this simple configuration of level emitter and redstone link should allow me to control this guy wirelessly from right there to over here, just as long as I do that to set this to receive and then hook up the appropriate signals. So let's try all this out. I've just gotta yank this cable all the way out to here and everything should just connect up. The subnet would not have power right now, and I should be able to put a quartz fiber between these two to power it. Now this mixer, all alone and separated from its peers over there, is going to be responsible for making me my awkward potion. So this thing is going to require nether wart and water. Nether wart, which I should be able to craft on request, and then water as a liquid. Here we are. And I should be able to then say this export bus exports the water into this. Sure enough, that's the appropriate one. The item input gets the wart, and I should have done one of those where I bookmark it to the right there, or the left, sorry. There, nether wart should be going in. And any second now, I should be getting me some awkward potion. It might be ending up just in here, if it's even produced. Doing anything? No, it's turned off right now, I believe. There we go, it's working now. All I had to do was set this to be the proper awkward potion recipe, and I think I'm just gonna pick two random things to make a signal for it. Both of these up, frequency item 1. Not doing this properly, guess I wasn't. Here we are, two of these, then can I not put the level emitter in? I guess I did. Cool. Anyways, this is working now, and it's going to keep working till I get 100 buckets of awkward potion. And this stuff currently is not going anywhere because it doesn't have anywhere to go. So I have to now partition me a drive. A singular 1k fluid cell, and awkward potion gets dragged in. And this guy doesn't need overflow destruction because I'm going to fill up on my bucket amount before I reach the total capacity of this drive, and because it's partitioned, it'll only ever hold the awkward potions. So that way, I can make sure that it's not using too many bytes. For example, I won't run over the 1024 byte number, and still have enough in the capacity of this thing. So no overflow required, because it can't overflow. Now this guy's working. All I need is a bucket of awkward potion to set me my thing. I just gotta boop this. That's the bucket. If I do this again, it'll show me the liquid instead. And now I should be shift right click with an empty hand to lock it, so I can't mess with this anymore. Neat. And the success of that thing means that I just have to repeat my setup a couple more times. Once for the strength potion 1, once for the tier 2 strength potion, and one more time for the potion of regeneration. And yes, I am going to be producing all of these passively. Another day, another fluid drive, another potion, and now imagine I did it 2 more times. So I didn't feel like recording another time lapse again. For basically identical setups. Something to note, however, is that even though both of these show up as just potions of night vision, one of these is the 3-minute version and the other is the 8-minute version. And even when marking them out in JEI, there is no differentiation, so you just have to be careful about which partitions you use and which drives, and yeah, that pretty much figures itself out. Do not pay attention to the potion of regeneration, though. I totally didn't forget that machine on. That wasn't me. It wasn't this guy at all. I think the bottling machine, which is the last step to actually make these potions, can live right here in this box, because its footprint is actually small enough to maybe even fit sideways, but I don't want to risk it, so I'll put it in a long way. Did I make a smaller version of the same room for a smaller machine? Yes, I did. Did I already build the machine while I was turning around? Also yes. I, however, seem to have made a mistake there. There we are. Perfect. It's the same old system with a pattern provider going into a buffer with an import bus and 2 storage buses, which goes on a conveyor, and a demagnetizer so that I don't pick up the stuff on the belt, which then goes into an interface in the bank, which is then connected to the pattern provider to finish the craft. Nice and simple. And the patterns for this bad boy are also absurdly simple too. Just a potion of regeneration plus that thing, and in this case it's going to be the potion of night vision plus a glass bottle, and for this guy it's just going to be the other potion of night... Oh, the other way around please, just this one. The other potion of night vision plus a different glass bottle. And all of these can live right in here. And now I should be able to request these potions as and when I want. So 1 potion of night vision for 3 minutes, 1 potion of night vision for 8 minutes, 1 again, and then 1 for regeneration, although I do seem to have a few extras, but I would like to see them be crafted. Okay, that's interesting. Summon the buffer. There's definitely a problem here. Oh, nothing major, it's just machine powered, that's all. There we go, it's not powered. It's squeegeed on. The other guy gets squeegeed on. And the other guy gets also squeegeed on. Hell yeah. All of these will be used to make these shelves, which will eventually lead to me enchanting these shelves in a Runic Enchanter. For which I need the deep shelf of arcane treasures, which is made with deep shelves. And deep shelves come from the Runic Enchanter. Fortunately, there's infusion enchanting in Apotheosis. And if I just take some of my dormant deep shelves, I should be able to say infuse, and infuse, infuse, and infuse. Because I believe I need just the 4. And yeah, my achievements got reset, so here we are. 1 deep shelf of arcane treasures, 2 deep shelf of arcane treasures, 1 auto crafting recipe for the Hephaestus Forge. And you know what, I don't even have to go underneath this, I can just type out the word forge and it'll show up right here. I should now be able to request the Runic Enchanter, or more specifically, if I just search up the Enchanter, if I can even spell right. There we are. 1 Enchanter please, and thank you. And that only took a moment. Now I wonder where I can... This guy, I would imagine this is yet another 9x9, so if I just put this over yonder, is that centered? I wish it is. Must look like it. Is this bigger? Oh, this is a little bit larger than this spot can handle. Oof. Does that mean I get to put it in the wall somewhere? It's a bit taller than I expected too. Slight problem. I think I'm gonna put this guy right here, even though it's overlapping the scaffolding just a tiny bit. I think I'm overthinking my decision. It goes here because it's nice and symmetrical over here, and if the star altar is bigger than one of these spots, it can go right back there in the middle of my base. I think that'll look pretty snazzy, and also maintain this long viewpoint that I've been trying to maintain for. Oh boy, that is a lot of stuff it needs. It's not that bad. 60 machine casing, 17 soul touched sculpt shelf, 7 echoing sculpt shelves, 9 soul lanterns, 12 machine vents, and oh so many more items. And after not exploring too far, I managed to find this little guy right here. Now this is the Eternal Starlight portal, and to actually get into the Eternal Starlight, I have to light this portal somehow. I just had to right-click this with an Orb of Prophecy, and it looks like that has enabled the portal. So it should be able to step through. Here we go. There's honestly plenty to do in this dimension, but for now, I'm just going to call this Eternal Starlight, and I'm gonna go on the hunt for the wood I'm looking for. There is no biome nearby, but it does look like something changes over there, so let's go this way. And would you look at that? Just like that, I believe this is lunar wood. Yes, it is indeed. I'm just gonna yoink. Grab all. Ooh, that's a lot of quests, I imagine. And that is all I needed from this dimension for now. So, I'm gonna meet you back at home. I have now made the requisite lunar fences, and I believe I should be able to put this down as long as it's in line. I can't just hit construct without modifiers. Confirm, and that should do everything. Yes, it did indeed. Look at it go. While looking at the recipes, it does seem like every single recipe made in this Runic Enchanter requires source as well as XP constantly, and that means I should be able to use an export bus to export source into this guy, and then that's an item input, so I'm gonna put the pattern provider here. The import bus goes on the output, and then the export bus goes here, where I will put in the XP fluid. I've just got to hook everything up with cables. And then link this to somewhere where I can find the channels needed. Now, rather interestingly, because I'm not currently using my nuclear reactor for anything, I happen to have 28 of 32 channels occupied here, and guess what's using 4 channels exactly? It's my Runic Enchanter, so that goes there, and I'm just gonna hook that there. And everything should be online. Out here, everything should have 1 channel each, and it does. The source guy gets the source, and yeah, that's a wrapped generic stack. You can always press A on this to get this here, and you can press A on it again. It's something not a lot of people know. This thing is the XP fluid thing, so you get XP fluid. And then lastly, in this pattern provider lives the pattern that I made a long time ago, what prompted me to start making this thing to begin with, and that is the infused dragon's breath. So a dragon's breath turns into the infused dragon's breath, and that's because the source and the XP I'm giving to this place passively. Perfect. And if everything's working as it should, I should be able to request infused dragon's breath. Let's just set the 1, and everything should do its thing. And eventually I should get a thing that tells me that it's done crafting. And there it is. There it is. Very cool. Now let's see what's left. To make a dimensional seed, I need a spyglass and an infused health shelf recipe. So a spyglass should be fairly easy. I should have everything I need just from having played the game for so long. But of course, it's got to be a recipe, not just something I make right now. And the infused health shelf is made in a Runic Enchanter with a little bit of XP fluid, but that's not in the recipe anymore. That goes here. I put that in, and then that can live somewhere in here. I still have a feeling I'm missing some shelves here, so I'm gonna say, let's just say 10. And sure enough, I'm missing a bunch of diamonds, but that's not exactly a problem. I'm missing hell shelves. Okay. Once again, a rather simple recipe to encode because I already made the potions, the bookshelves, the blazes come from my farms, and the nether bricks. I don't have a recipe for nether bricks. Never mind, it's super easy, just with nether essence. Very cool. So to wrap up this episode, I can finally request 1 dimensional seed, and it should be doing a bunch of stuff to get this going. It's got to compress all the netherrack, then it's got to craft up all of these. But hey, the netherrack's only needed for the miniature nether portal, and everything else is just plain all available. Beautiful. And auto crafting is complete. And it seems like I'm missing the nether portal and the miniature end portal quests before I can get this green check mark, so give me a moment. There's the one, and there's the other. And there's the quests. And then the dimensional seed gets to live in its designated spot, right there. And with another item checked off this list, holy crap, that's a lot of stuff. It's that time in the video where I say thank y'all for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode of All the Mods 10. Peace out, everybody.